My worry is it will be with us much longer than we all hope, if I'm honest. I think Cameron has had ample opportunity to say, if elected, we will remove this, and hasn't. And I think once it's in place, I'm not sure I understand what the political upside of removing it is for the party that's in power. That's my worry. I think for everybody in this room that's really bad news, and I think the drivers to reduce it are only going to come from the leaders of industry, the wealth creators, and if people either lose the incentive to drive businesses forward or start taking their businesses out of this country, I think that'll trigger it. But otherwise, I think we might be with it for probably the whole of the next Parliament.
Right. The rules do seem to change more quickly than we expect, and I perhaps wouldn't be quite so pessimistic as Ian. But I certainly think a few years.
Yeah.
I tend to think that 50%. I thought Cameron originally said that for the majority of the next Parliament. I'd had the feeling that if there is a change of government, I keep saying if, because everybody said in 1992 that John Major wouldn't win, and he did sort of scrape through by the skin of his teeth. So I don't know, and I'm not a great political follower, but I tend to feel that if the economy improves substantially over the next few years, and if there is a change of government, then I think it's an election thing at the end of the next Parliament. I do tend to think that it will need to, because I think business is going to respond. And I don't want to be pessimistic, but I know how many people I talk to that are looking for other options, and they're not just London people, they're people I've seen up, for example, in the North East, who have manufacturing type businesses, who are talking about now selling the business whilst they're non-resident. So it's not just about holding their investments, it's about planning an exit that they missed. One individual in particular missed the boat, very substantial business, now talking about planning the sale again, but being non-resident when it happens. And if that trend carries on, then I do think whoever is in power is going to have to take this extremely seriously.
My feedback from the clients is it is very much a kind of tipping point. I think that historically compliant, biddable, happy to live with a tax regime in the round clients are now much more sitting up and taking notice of the sort of things we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think that's the initial response.
I don't actually think it was intended as an assault on entrepreneurs, because I think they were really thinking a little bit more short-sightedly and thinking what will win us some votes in the short term, and because of all the publicity over seemingly overpaid bankers, I think that was really more where the attack was intended. But obviously the attack is on all high earners, so inevitably it's going to have a knock-on effect. I mean, entrepreneurs are not driven entirely by making money, because they're driven by various other matters as well, and a lot of them will carry on regardless, but with that still feeling of growing animosity towards the government. So it is going to have an effect on the votes, I think.
I agree on the whole sort of banker remuneration thing, that everyone will have their own view on that. I think the other thing is the public at large will think 150,000 as a stratospheric sum, and most people won't be able to relate to it. So I don't think the government saw that as an attack on entrepreneurship. Again, without being political, I think what we have to remember is that it was this administration that brought in the two-tier capital gains that everyone was really, really happy with. We had 10% for businesses, and that was fabulous. And so, I just hope some administration brings that back in the future, because it was a very, very good system. I'm afraid the phrase, if it isn't broken, don't fix it, does come to mind. So whether it's just lost its way, I don't think there is a desire to attack entrepreneurship. I don't know, but I don't think the mindset is there, because we actually had a lot of things in place that really supported business, and maybe it is a loss of way, a loss of direction, and a more narrow focus, and maybe a knee-jerk reaction to some of the things that have been going wrong in the economy. we've got to get some money, what do we do? Let's pick a high number, or what we think the public will perceive as a high number. And I don't think it's particularly, it's well thought out.
Playing to the gallery almost.
I was sitting opposite a tax partner from a Big Four firm when we were listening to the budget, and I just don't know whose chin hit the desk first. We just nobody expected 50%. So we're in a mess. Hopefully there is some good news out there. I'm certainly seeing positive things, and I talk to people who are in business, people who work on their own account. I can't say I get a complete cross-section of the population, but you get a good feel for what people are thinking, what our clients are thinking, and as I said, I think whoever comes in next is going to have to do some rethinking.